Kyabje Chatral Sangye Dorje Rinpoche, also known as Trogyal Dorje, also known as Chatral Rinpoche, also known as Chetu Sangye Dorje, was born on the auspicious 10th day of the 5th month in the year of the Water Ox, also known as June of 1913. He was the youngest of 3 sons in a large family in the Nyarong region of Kham, Tibet. His father, Pema Dondrob, and his mother, Sonam Tso, were pious members of the Abse tribal group, a group that is presently only mentioned in relation to Chatral Rinpoche. It is said that the day after he was born, the highly respected Lama Ase Bigu Tulku Nyima Gyaltsen visited his family to tell them of a vision he had on the day of Chatral's birth. In this vision, a white donkey loaded down with Buddhist scriptures came to Pema and Sonam's house and delivered the texts to them. This was a sign that a great master had been born. The Lama then bestowed the child with the name Trogyal Dorje, which means adamantine, wrathful, victorious one. This was the first of many honors that Chatral Rinpoche would receive. It is unclear exactly when Chatral Rinpoche left his family to begin his studies. Sources range from age 8 to age 15. It is also unclear if Chatral's root guru, Katok Khenpo Ngagchung, commonly called Khenpo Nagaga, first met Chatral at his home, or if he first encountered him at Katok Monastery. In the interest of preserving Chatral's story as he told it to those around him, however, we will follow the story that his wife, Sangyum Kamala Rinpoche, tells today. When Chatral Rinpoche was 8 years old, Katok Khenpo Ngagchung, also known as Khenpo Nagaga, visited his family in Nyarong. His mother and father told Nagaga of Chatral's auspicious birth and offered him to Nagaga as a student. After Nagaga agreed to take on Chatral, his entire family packed 1 year's worth of food on a yak and began the 6-day journey to Katok Monastery in the neighboring region of Amdo. After arriving at the monastery, Chatral's family offered the food to Nagaga as a gift, then returned home, leaving the 8-year-old Chatral at the monastery. It was now time for the young Chatral Rinpoche to begin his studies. Khenpo Nagaga's first assignment was to accumulate the Ngondro, Ngon meaning first, Dro meaning start. The specific first start given to Chatral Rinpoche was the Longchen Yingthing Ngondro, the excellent path to omniscience, which is also called the 500,000 due to its structure. First, one must seek refuge in the Dharma by performing 111,000 prostrations. 100,000 to start, then 10,000 to fill in that 100,000, then 1,000 to fill in that 10,000. Next, one must perform 111,000 prostrations to accumulate bodhicitta. The third stage then requires 111,000 repetitions of the 100-syllable mantra for purification of speech. The fourth stage requires the creation of 111,000 mandalas for purification of mind. Finally, in the fifth and final stage, one must perform Guru Yoga while reciting the mantra Om Ahung Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Hung 1,300,000 times to purify the body. This entire process typically takes around 1.5 years to complete. Chatral Rinpoche completed the Ngondro a total of 14 times, resting for only 1 or 2 months between cycles. In those rests, however, he was not resting in the everyday sense of the word. Instead, he practiced calligraphy, reading, writing, and other important skills during his resting period. One of the most fascinating other practices he was taught in between cycles is called Tumo, or the inner fire, which is the practice of meditating without clothes in the snow mountains of Tibet, using only one's own energy to keep warm. In total, Chatral Rinpoche spent approximately 20 years practicing in this way at Katok Monastery. In the words of his wife, there are not many lamas who have accumulated Ngondro 14 times. Khenpo Nagaga himself only accumulated the Ngondro 11 times. During this Ngondro accumulation period, Jadrel Rinpoche followed an extremely strict routine. Each day he would rise from his bed at 3 o'clock in the morning and begin his first session of Ngondro practice. At 6 o'clock, he would stop his Ngondro practice to perform the Riro Sangcho, Sur, and Torma offerings. At 7 o'clock, he would prepare and eat his breakfast. From 8 o'clock until 11 o'clock, he would perform his second Ngondro session. At 11 o'clock, he would then prepare and eat lunch, bathe, write, and make other offerings if need be. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, he would then begin a third Ngondro session, finishing at 4 o'clock. He would then prepare his dinner, eat it, then do whatever miscellaneous chores needed to be done around the house. At 6 o'clock, he would begin his fourth and final Ngondro session of the day. Finishing at 9 o'clock, he would then make the Red Sur offering and practice Chod. Finally, sometime between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, he would retire to his bed once more to begin the process anew the next day. This rigorous routine was accomplished without any assistance, electricity, or even hot water every day for approximately 20 years. It paid off for Jadrel, however, as once he had completed his Ngondro practice, he was formally recognized by Khenpo Nagaga, who said, "His realization is no different from mine." This allowed Jadrel a great deal of freedom in choosing what to do next, as he was now considered a true Dzogchen master, yet he had not taken monastic vows. Utilizing this newfound freedom, Jadrel began studying traditional medicine, stupa construction and engineering, advanced mandala making, and even the newly emerging science of psychology. After spending another 10 to 15 years exploring his academic interests and furthering his Dzogchen practice by studying with various gurus around the Katok monastery area, he decided to move to Lhasa in central Tibet. Here he met Sarah Khandro, an extremely accomplished yogini who was said to be an incarnation of Yeshe Tsogyal, and received special transmissions from her. Other important yogis, such as Katok Situ and Dudjom Rinpoche, also gave him special transmissions and empowerments during this time. With his extensive practice at Katok Monastery combined with these special teachings from the important Lhasa yogis and yoginis, he was now a famous and revered figure across Tibet. Jadrel, however, was not one to revel in the spotlight, and so after receiving the teachings of these yogi lineage holders, he disappeared into the mountains, traveling only on foot to meditate in caves as a hermit. This is where the name Jadrel comes from, meaning hermit. In 1937, the regent, political leader in lieu of the Dalai Lama, of Tibet, Reteng Rinpoche, requested teachings from Khenpo Nagaga, who promptly turned him down, saying he was simply too old to properly teach a regent. Nagaga recommended that the regent instead should seek out his accomplished heart disciple, Jadrel Rinpoche. The regent liked the idea, and after a few long months of searching in the mountains, he found Jadrel meditating in a remote mountain cave and asked Jadrel to accept him as a student. At first, Jadrel refused, saying, "I'm sorry, there is nothing special about me, and I have nothing to teach you. Please go elsewhere for teachings." After the regent produced a letter from Khenpo Nagaga, however, Jadrel accepted the post and spent the following year educating the regent in Potala Palace. After his year as regent instructor was finished, he took off into the mountains on foot once again, refusing to ride a horse when offered. For the next 12 years, 1938 to 1950, he subsisted solely on the plants and mushrooms that he could find in the mountain wilderness, which is to say, almost nothing, and spent much of his time meditating in caves that were said to be blessed by Padmasambhava. In 1950, however, things changed when Jadrel prophesied that Tibet would soon be attacked and Tibetans would soon be displaced. This caused him to make a sudden move to Bhutan, where he restored an old mountain temple and established a retreat center for Longchen Yingting practice. He stayed at this retreat center, offering guidance and teachings until 1960, when he decided to make a pilgrimage to the sacred site of the Buddha's enlightenment. Here he was profoundly moved, taking a new vow to abstain from meat and alcohol, as he believed the Buddha instructed. This would become a large facet of his public image later in his life, as from this point forth he began to spend all of his available money on various land and sea animals from the market, so that he could release them back into the wild. A few years later, he asked one of his students, Sangyum Kamala Rinpoche, to be his wife.
My father have so many books, so many puja things, so they are all she want to offer to Jadrel Rinpoche. Then we came in Darjeeling, then we meet Jadrel Rinpoche, then Jadrel Rinpoche said to me, if you like, then he marriage with me. Then I very happy because
She promptly accepted, and later they sired 2 daughters, Saraswati and Tara Devi. Jadrel Rinpoche continued to study with various masters and lineage holders of Tibet, continued the practice of purchasing animals for release, and continued restoring and constructing stupas all across the Himalayas, eventually studying with over 100 masters in total. On December 30th of 2015, at the ripe age of 102, Jadrel Rinpoche entered a deep meditative trance that prepares one to enter parinirvana, called Tukdam meditation, when he passed on from his worldly body into the realm of parinirvana. His lineage is now maintained by his hard son, Patrul Rinpoche.